Welcome to Global Interview Institute. Today, we're covering essential HR assistant interview questions and answers for freshers. The HR assistant role serves as your entry point into human resources, and being well prepared can help you stand out from other candidates. We'll go through 25 common questions with sample answers that you should customize to reflect your background and experiences. Let's get started. Question 1. Tell me about yourself and why you're interested in an HR assistant position. Sample answer. I recently graduated with a degree in Human Resource Management from ABC University. During my studies, I developed a strong interest in how organizations manage their people. I'm drawn to the HR assistant role because it allows me to gain hands-on experience across multiple HR functions while supporting employees. My organizational skills, attention to detail, and genuine interest in helping others make me well suited for this position. I'm excited to contribute to your HR team while developing my professional skills. When you subscribe, like, and share this video, you're not just improving your career, you're changing lives. A portion of our proceeds supports vulnerable children worldwide. Act now. Be part of something meaningful. Now, let's move on to our second interview question. Question 2. What do you understand about the role of an HR assistant? Sample answer. An HR assistant supports the Human Resources Department by handling administrative tasks while learning HR operations fundamentals. The role typically involves maintaining employee records, assisting with recruitment, onboarding new hires, answering employee queries, supporting payroll, and helping organize company events. Essentially, this position requires someone detail-oriented, organized, and able to maintain confidentiality while providing excellent service to employees. I see it as both a supportive role and a learning opportunity to understand HR's contribution to organizational success. Question 3. Can you explain your understanding of the recruitment process? Sample answer. The recruitment process begins with identifying a staffing need and creating a job description. As an HR assistant, I would help post job advertisements, perform initial application screening based on criteria, schedule interviews for qualified candidates, and prepare interview materials. Afterward, I would collect feedback, coordinate skills assessments, and assist with reference checks. Once a candidate is selected, I would support the offer process and initiate onboarding. Throughout this workflow, clear communication with candidates and hiring managers ensures a positive experience. Question 4. What HR software or tools are you familiar with? Sample answer. While my hands-on experience with professional HR systems is limited, I've worked with several platforms during my education. I'm proficient with Microsoft Office Suite, particularly Excel for data management. During coursework, I received training on HRIS systems like Workday and SAP SuccessFactors through simulations. I also understand the fundamentals of ATS platforms like Greenhouse from Recruitment coursework. I'm a quick learner with technology and confident in my ability to master any HR systems your organization uses. Question 5. How would you maintain confidentiality when dealing with sensitive employee information? Sample answer. I would strictly adhere to the company's data protection policies and only access information necessary for my tasks. I would never discuss sensitive information in public spaces or with unauthorized personnel. For digital records, I would ensure proper password protection, lock my computer when away, and follow proper document disposal procedures. If unsure about sharing information, I would consult with my supervisor first. Building trust with employees starts with demonstrating professionalism in protecting their personal information. Question 6. What experience do you have with benefits administration? Sample answer. My experience with benefits administration comes from my courses and a short internship. I understand the basics of managing employee benefits like health insurance, retirement plans, and other optional benefits. I know about the yearly enrollment process, life events that allow mid-year changes, and basic COBRA rules. During my internship, I helped answer employee questions about benefits and helped prepare enrollment materials. I know that benefits administration requires being detail-oriented, understanding regulations, and being able to explain complex benefits clearly to employees. While my experience is limited, I'm eager to learn more about this important area of HR that greatly affects employee satisfaction and retention. Question 7. How would you handle multiple priorities and deadlines in an HR role? Sample answer. I would implement a systematic approach by listing all tasks and categorizing them by urgency and importance. For recurring tasks, I would create standard processes to increase efficiency. I believe in using digital tools like task management apps and calendar reminders to stay organized. I would maintain open communication with my supervisor about my workload, especially when new priorities arise. In academic team projects, I used similar approaches to balance multiple assignments with tight deadlines, developing time management skills applicable to an HR assistant role. Question 8. How would you handle a situation where an employee comes to you with a complaint about their manager? Sample answer. I would thank the employee for bringing their concern forward and listen attentively to understand the issue fully. I would take notes while assuring them that their concerns are taken seriously. Since this involves a manager, I would explain that while I appreciate their trust, this matter needs to be escalated according to company policy. I would explain the next steps without making promises about specific outcomes. Throughout the interaction, I would maintain neutrality and confidentiality while following established complaint procedures. Question 9. Describe how you would contribute to creating a positive company culture. Sample answer. I would first thoroughly understand the organization's values and consistently embody them in my interactions. I would help organize team-building activities and recognition programs that reinforce these values. During onboarding, I would ensure new hires clearly understand the company culture from day one. I would serve as an approachable resource for employees to share ideas for improvements and help gather feedback through surveys to identify areas for strengthening culture. Even in an entry-level role, enthusiasm for the company mission and genuine care for employee well-being can positively influence the workplace. Question 10. How would you handle a situation where you notice a colleague not following HR policies? Sample answer. For minor issues, I might have a private, non-confrontational conversation to ensure they're aware of the correct procedures, as it could be an oversight. If it's a more serious violation or if the behavior continues, I would follow proper channels by discussing the situation with my supervisor, presenting facts objectively. Throughout this process, I would maintain professionalism and confidentiality. Consistent application of HR policies is essential for fairness and compliance, so addressing such situations appropriately maintains the integrity of HR functions. Question 11. How do you approach difficult conversations with employees? Sample answer. I approach difficult conversations with preparation and empathy. I would gather all relevant information, choose a private setting, and allocate sufficient time without interruptions. I would start by clearly explaining the purpose, then present facts objectively. I believe in active listening, allowing the employee to share their perspective. I would acknowledge their emotions while keeping the discussion focused on behaviors and solutions rather than personalities. I would end with clear next steps and appropriate follow-up. While challenging for freshers, I'm committed to developing this skill through training and mentorship. Question 12. What would you do if you made a mistake in processing payroll or benefits? Sample answer. I would take responsibility and act quickly to minimize negative impact. I would document the error and immediately notify my supervisor, bringing details of what happened and potential solutions. If employees were affected, I would work with my team on a clear communication plan to inform those impacted, explain the situation honestly, and outline our resolution. I would maintain transparency while reassuring employees that steps are being taken to prevent future errors. I would also identify what led to the mistake and implement additional verification steps in my workflow to improve accuracy going forward. Question 13. What do you consider your greatest strengths that would make you successful as an HR assistant? Sample answer. My greatest strengths include exceptional organizational skills, attention to detail, and ability to maintain confidentiality. Throughout my education, I consistently managed complex projects with multiple deadlines. My natural inclination toward systematic processes helps me complete tasks accurately. I'm also approachable yet professional, and I genuinely enjoy helping others navigate challenges. I've developed strong written communication skills and understand the importance of discretion from previous responsibilities with sensitive information. These strengths form a solid foundation that I'm eager to build upon in this field. Question 14. What areas do you think you need to develop further to excel in this role? Sample answer. As a fresher, I need to develop my practical knowledge of HR processes beyond theoretical understanding. Specifically, I'm working on building more experience with HRIS systems and improving my knowledge of employment legislation and its application. I also believe developing stronger conflict resolution skills would be valuable. To address these areas, I've been taking online courses on HR technologies, studying HR compliance case studies, and practicing difficult conversations through role-play exercises. I look forward to growing these skills with hands-on experience and mentorship in this role. Question 15. How do you handle constructive criticism? Sample answer. I view constructive criticism as a valuable opportunity for growth. When receiving feedback, I listen openly without becoming defensive, focusing on understanding areas for improvement. I take notes during feedback conversations and ask clarifying questions to ensure I understand expectations. Afterward, I reflect and develop an action plan with concrete steps. For example, after receiving feedback that my documentation needed improvement during a final year project, I implemented a new template approach that significantly enhanced my work. Being receptive to guidance from experienced professionals is essential for my development, and I actively seek feedback rather than waiting for formal reviews. Question 16. How would you handle a high volume of recruitment activities during a busy hiring period? Sample answer. I would create a detailed recruitment calendar to track open positions, deadlines, and interview schedules. I would use templates for job postings, screening questions, and candidate communications to save time while maintaining quality. I would utilize ATS features to their full potential, setting up automated responses where appropriate. I would prioritize positions based on business needs and deadline urgency, communicating regularly with hiring managers about timelines. I would block calendar time for focused screening work. If volume became overwhelming, I would proactively discuss with my supervisor about possible adjustments or assistance. This structured approach would maintain both efficiency and positive candidate experience. Question 17. Describe how you would handle onboarding a large group of new employees simultaneously. Sample answer. I would create a comprehensive checklist covering all onboarding elements, from paperwork to training schedules. I would prepare standardized welcome packages while personalizing certain elements based on individual roles. I would coordinate a group orientation session for company-wide information, followed by department-specific sessions. Digital onboarding tools would help streamline the process, allowing new hires to complete some paperwork before their start date. I would maintain a tracking system to ensure no steps are missed for any employee and schedule individual check-ins during their first week to address questions and gather feedback for continuous improvement. Question 18. How would you respond if an employee asked you a question about company policy and you weren't sure of the answer? Sample answer. I would be honest about needing to verify the information rather than providing uncertain guidance. I would acknowledge their question, explain that I want to ensure they receive accurate information, and commit to a specific follow-up timeframe. Then, I would consult the policy manual, relevant documentation, or seek guidance from my supervisor or experienced colleagues. Once I have the correct information, I would promptly share it with the employee, explaining the policy clearly. I would use this as a learning opportunity to better familiarize myself with that policy area. Transparency about not knowing every answer immediately, combined with reliability in finding accurate information, builds more trust than providing hasty incorrect responses. Question 19. What would you do if you noticed a potential compliance issue in the company's hiring practices? Sample answer. I would research relevant laws and regulations to confirm my concerns and gather specific examples of the problematic practice. I would document my findings in a clear, fact-based manner. As a junior team member, I would bring this information to my supervisor in a private meeting, presenting the issue as a risk management opportunity rather than criticism. I would focus on potential legal and reputational impacts while suggesting possible solutions to bring practices into compliance. I would reference specific regulations that apply to the situation. Throughout this process, I would maintain confidentiality while demonstrating my commitment to upholding ethical HR practices and protecting the organization. Question 20. How would you contribute to diversity and inclusion initiatives as an HR assistant? Sample answer. During recruitment, I would help ensure job descriptions use inclusive language and opportunities reach diverse candidate pools through varied posting channels. I could assist in implementing blind resume screening to reduce unconscious bias. For onboarding, I would ensure materials are accessible and inclusive of different backgrounds. I could help collect diversity metrics to track progress while maintaining confidentiality. I would support the coordination of diversity training and inclusion events. Daily, I would model inclusive behavior and consistently apply HR policies fairly across all employee groups. While I may not lead these initiatives as an assistant, supporting them with attention to detail and genuine commitment would contribute meaningfully to the company's D&I goals. Question 21. How do you ensure accuracy when handling HR documentation and data entry? Sample answer. I create a distraction-free environment when handling data entry tasks. I implement a double-check system, completing a section, then reviewing it before moving on. For complex documents, I use checklists to ensure all fields are completed properly. When transferring information between systems, I verify key identifiers like employee IDs to prevent mismatches. I use data validation tools when available and create standardized templates for recurring documentation. I also schedule data entry during my peak concentration hours when possible. These practices helped me maintain high accuracy during my academic projects and internships, and I would bring this same methodical approach to an HR assistant role. Question 22. Can you describe your experience with employee data management? Sample answer. While my direct professional experience is limited as a fresher, I have relevant experience through coursework and internships. During HR management courses, I worked on case studies organizing employee data using Excel and HRIS simulations. I created systems to track information like employment history and performance reviews while maintaining data integrity. In my internship at XYZ Company, I assisted with a data migration project, helping verify accurate record transfers between systems. This taught me the importance of data accuracy, consistent formatting, and proper security protocols. I understand the principles of data privacy regulations like GDPR and look forward to applying these fundamentals while learning your specific systems. Question 23. How would you approach learning new HR systems or software quickly? Sample answer. I would first understand the system's purpose and how it fits into the broader HR workflow before diving into specifics. I would utilize all available training resources, tutorials, manuals, or training sessions, and take detailed notes. Practice is crucial, so I would create test scenarios to build hands-on experience in a safe environment. I would connect with experienced users who can share practical tips and common pitfalls. When questions arise, I would document them clearly to seek efficient help. I focus on understanding not just how to perform tasks but why certain processes exist, as this deeper understanding accelerates proficiency. My experience adapting to new academic platforms has prepared me to apply this learning approach professionally. Question 24. What experience do you have with HR reporting and analytics? Sample answer. My experience comes from academic projects and my internship. In my HR metrics course, I worked on case studies analyzing turnover rates, recruitment efficiency, and training effectiveness. I became proficient in using Excel for data analysis, creating pivot tables, and designing visual representations through charts. During my internship, I assisted by gathering attendance data and creating monthly reports tracking patterns and policy compliance. While still developing my analytics skills, I understand the importance of data-driven decision-making in HR and am familiar with key metrics like cost per hire and employee satisfaction scores. I'm excited to expand my capabilities and learn about your organization's specific reporting needs and tools. Question 25. How do you prioritize employee experience in your HR approach? Sample answer. I believe prioritizing employee experience is fundamental to effective HR, as it directly impacts engagement, productivity, and retention. I would focus on creating positive touchpoints at every stage of the employee lifecycle. During recruitment and onboarding, this means creating clear, welcoming processes that set employees up for success. In daily operations, I would ensure HR services are accessible and responsive, treating employee queries with the same importance as external customer service. I would actively seek feedback to identify pain points in current processes. When implementing new HR initiatives, I would consider not just compliance and efficiency but also how changes affect employees' work experience. I bring a fresh perspective on what creates positive workplace experiences for today's workforce. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more videos like this. Share your thoughts and any additional questions you might have in the comments below.